ArcheryTalk, this is Lucas, and today I thought I'd run you through my setup here for the Prime Inline 3. This is not going to be a full review or anything like that. I'm just going to talk a little bit about my tuning process and what accessories I put on the bow and things like that. I did a similar video with the Elite and Vision a short time ago. I figured I'd follow suit and do the same thing with the Prime. So let's talk draw length first. This bow has a rotating draw length module that can take you up to 30.5 inches of draw length. That's a little long for me. I'm trying to set this bow up as close to 30 inches as I can. And so you just kind of loosen two set screws here, not set screws, but just the two screws that hold the module together. And then you rotate it. It's got a little peg, which has got indents in the groove. So right now I'm in the second groove, which is the 30-inch mark. It came from the factory at the 30.5 full length, and you can rotate it all along there. I think all the way down to 26 inches for this particular model. If you get the inline 1, you can go down a little bit shorter draw length, and if you get the inline 5, you can go some longer draw length. So Prime has something to suit just about everybody. And once I had that done, I put it on the draw board and had this thing measuring out at 30.25 inches of draw length. That is very typical for me when I'm shooting a bow set up at 30 inches. They usually run about 1/4 inch long. So Prime is is on the money there. And then there is a draw stop now on this bow that is strictly limb stop only. In the past, Prime has offered cable and limb stops on the same bow, and then last year they only offered cable stops, and then this year they're only offering a limb stop option. It's just a single limb stop on the bottom, and that's the setup this year. And it's the first time they've ever had one that you couldn't rotate and kind of make micro adjustments to your holding weight or things like that. So it's got individual screw holes for the limb stop module here, and then that's really the only thing you're left with. In preference, I tend to like cable stops a little better than limb stops. It's just a personal preference for me. I like a little bit more give when I'm coming into the wall. The limb stop is it's a very firm, rock hard wall. So if that's the kind of thing you like, and I think a lot of people do, which is why Prime made that switch this year, that's what they've come out with. Again, my preference is a cable stop generally, but they all shoot pretty well for me. There's not a great deal of difference. Tuning this bow, I did have a little bit of an issue, or at least so I thought. First, I was getting a tear, and so I wanted to move my cams. Prime gives you different modules or different positions for these. You see these things in here. They're like little donuts almost, little C's. And my setup was going, I think, right in the middle, and you could have another option where you can move your cam a little to the right or cam a little bit to the left. I chose to move mine a little bit to the right, and to do that is a little bit complicated. You have to put these things in a bow press just to kind of place it in there, and then you undo these little screws here. I've got a video which I'll hopefully show you with some B-roll. Once you do that, you kind of poke out the axle, and then these little spacers kind of fall out, and then you kind of position them however you like. So it's not a super complicated procedure. I wish I didn't have to use a bow press to make changes like that, but that's just the case with many bows, most of the bows, quite frankly. To make changes, to make kind of tuning changes, you're gonna have to need a bow press, and that's no different here. Once I got that done, I was shooting down range a little bit, and I still wasn't super happy with my tear, and I was trying to figure out, I didn't know what else to do, and then I realized it was all my grip. I was kind of gripping the bow, maybe just, I don't know, a little too much hand on there. And so I just kind of repositioned my hand, and all of a sudden the tears disappeared, and I was getting bullet holes, and it's going exactly as I wanted to. So sometimes that's the thing I have to watch out for, because I end up tuning a lot of bows, and they don't all go exactly according to plan, and then sometimes it's ultimately just my error, not the bow's error. So once I had that sorted out, everything was going well. My rest is a little farther left than I would normally have it, but God, it's shooting well like this, and I have no reason to move it any other way. Speaking of the rest, I've got this one set up with the Hamskea Trinity Hunter. This is, again, the hybrid Hunter. I don't know if there's a better arrow rest on the market for a hunting bow. This is my absolute favorite. It's built like a tank. I've had this now for a couple of years. If I had my preference, I would get one for each of these hunting bows that I've got. I just don't have the budget to buy 5 or 6 of these things so I can on all the bows. Also running a Hamskea Raptor Peep, 1/4 inch, and I'm going to be running those on all the hunting bows this year. I can't afford peeps, so I bought peeps for all the hunting bows that are the same this year, just because that's my favorite peep. I think just it provides a nice clear picture. I like how it looks inside my club, which is kind of dark, and I like how it looks really when you're outside in the bright sun. So it works really well all over the place. Otherwise, I've got a black gold whitetail sight, just a kind of compact 3-pin sight with I use my bottom pin as a floater, and then a titanium archery product stabilizer, and that's the whole setup. In the near future, I'm going to be doing some a speed test with all the hunting bows once I get them all in. I'll be doing some reviews of all the bows, long-term reviews. I got about 100 and 150 shots out of this bow right now. I'm going to want to get several hundred more before I do a final review. And then finally we'll end up with the shootout. And hopefully maybe some smaller fun videos in between. I'm thinking some head-to-head, 3-spot or 5-spot or 50-meter competitions between the different bows every now and again. So if you've got some ideas, let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching Archery Talk. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel an awful lot, and we'll see you again soon.